Question is, it's a little bit of a classic with a twist on it. I promise there's some context that absolves me of some of my scumbaggery,
Okay.
but I'll get into it. So trans woman, if that's not apparent.
Mm-hmm.
I have been transitioning for 10 years now, and 2 years ago, I was able to get like bottom surgery, which was like incredible. It was kind of
Nice.
like a rough go. There was like the first surgeon kind of was like neglecting the aftercare, so I had to get a revision, and it was like a whole messy ordeal.
Mm.
But like I'm on the other side of it, and everything's fucking
Okay.
tip top.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. And when I actually, right
That's a
before I
tough one
got
to need a
into,
revision on. So I'm glad you're on the other side of it. You know what I mean?
oh
You
my
don't
goodness,
you'd
I
really like for the
experienced.
first one to take.
Dude, it's like I experience, and it's kind of nice because in a way, I like experience that so many. Like when I first came out, a woman told me, "Oh, welcome to the worst side of healthcare," and I'm
Right,
like,
right.
"Oh, okay, sure." And like literally going through this process of trying to get things figured out, I was like walking in the footsteps of like every woman like who was just told to have a glass of wine if she was having
Yeah,
painful sex. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
right.
you're not relaxing. Anyway, so
You're like, I'm a
it was
real
fine.
woman. A doctor doesn't respect me. Like,
Oh shit, yeah. No, and no one can have a vagina without being a little traumatized by it,
yeah,
is what I've
yeah.
learned. So I'm on the other side of that, and when I first got into I ended up meeting this amazing person. I actually was a person I had a crush on back in high school.
Mm.
She was like the only out lesbian that like I knew in my school, and like years later I ended up like um meeting her again. We've been dating, and she was like a huge support like for the surgery, and just like in general just like someone that I feel like I could really build a life with and kind of like settle down with.
Yeah, that's
That being
nice.
said, I have this like there was always a part of me that was like, oh, when I get surgery and I'm like finally like complete in my body, like I'm gonna have to be a slut for a little bit just to get it
Sure.
out of my system.
Let's get our money's
And
worth. Took two
yeah,
surgeries. Let's
yeah,
really
dear
throw this thing
God.
around.
Exactly. And it might feel like there's not as like there could be an opportunity for me to like quote unquote have my cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
But my girlfriend is very cagey about it, where it's like I never brought up the concept of threesomes, like never
Mm.
ever did. And then like 2 years ago, like we went out to a club, she got drunk, and she's like, I would think it would be kind of hot to like, fuck a man with you. And I'm like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I kind of asked her about it. She's like, "Oh, well, that's just like because people expected me to." And I said that because and I thought you expected me to. I'm like, "Oh, not really." And then fast forward further, sober, she starts bringing it more like, "Oh, like it would be kind of hot if like I won't go into detail, but essentially just like defining in detail like the concept of us like fucking a man together."
So not only did she bring it up sober a couple years later, but it sounded like she had a real play-by-play plan for it. Even this is something
Yeah,
she
no,
had
and it's like
considered.
it's great, and like I think we're both freaks, right? Which is great. We like our
Yeah.
freaks like match each other very well. But like she's like a first generation immigrant, and so she has a lot of I think like kind of like shame. Like even it took like a
Mm-hmm.
couple years for her to just like share some things with me that like weren't really that big of a deal to me. But like
Sure.
she was like, oh, I can't let you know this. But
Yeah.
I
That was my
yeah,
first thought when you said the drunk thing and then the sober retraction. Like I thought shame is the first thing I considered.
yeah.
But keep going.
So we now like it's just getting more frequent, right? Like I kind of we're even like having the conversation where I'm like, oh, like like that would be kind of nice, like I always thought it like the idea of like lesbians that like use men as sex toys was kind of like cute or like sexy, whatever. Like,
Sounds pretty
and
cool.
she's like, yeah, but then she's like, oh, well, it would never work, and it's not because like I can't like imagine you with another person in front of me. It's that like there is no way we would find somebody who wouldn't like get attached to us. And
Damn.
I'm like, this,
Hysterical.
well, her experience, she jokes that like she's been like pretty good at lesbian or whatever. the only times she's broken lesbianism is in dry spells, just because men are super easy and available. And like
Respect.
every time she's like ended up in a situationship with a man, she is like, "Hey, we're not gonna do anything outside of your house. We're just gonna fuck in your house. I'm gonna bring food. I'm gonna drink a
Oh,
beer.
sounds
Like
awesome.
we're not gonna like." And like the guy's like, "Oh yeah, haha, don't fall for me, no
Right.
strings attached, right?" And then like go figure, like they end up being like, "I love you." So
Right. Right.
she
Right.
she is a little like I guess cautious about that, but I bring up things like I'm like, well, hey, it could be like a couple, and she's like, oh, that's a good point, but then
Well,
just keeps going back to like, oh, well, that's a fantasy, and I'm like, why do you keep bringing it up then?
well, okay. So I think we've actually gotten a similar questions before. It from actually it's been a guy talking about whose girlfriend was kind of talking in a similar way about a girl, and I think what we told that guy is I think the initial place that my mind goes is like, why don't you hire a sex worker? That's literally,
Mm-hmm.
it couldn't be more no strings attached. It's a business proposition. Or if you don't want to go that route, like you're telling me you don't fucking know poly, like weird poly guys that'll just fuck for fun. Like they're out,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you got some people on your in your contacts right now, if I had to guess, that would fucking be down. So I think if the issue really is basically you have two issues. The main one is that your girlfriend like just she can't really just admit she wants this, and like you don't want to push her. It sounds like you're interested and she's interested, but you also don't want her to like regret it or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think like why don't you just float the concept of, you know, either a sex worker or like go on a freak at like field or some shit where like you could definitely find someone who wants to just fuck. I mean,
No,
you
the
know
sex
that.
worker, the sex workers, that's actually a really good idea. And also, okay, this is a funny update. So this weekend, what you mentioned about like the field, we're actually going to like a lesbian summer camp,
Hell
which
yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
like we had a friend that went the weekend before and was just giving us the lowdown, and like they were like, oh, like there's like single stall showers and group showers. Just like avoid the group showers because that's where people go to fuck. And like I'm like, okay,
Hell
thanks
yeah.
you for the heads up.
If
That's
you
good,
want to
thank
get
you.
clean, don't
And
go
then
there.
yes, and then I hang up, and then like my girlfriend's like, I want to go to the group showers, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, elaborate. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, I just want to like watch other people. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, well, like, how would you feel if like, we like fucked in front of other people? And
Mhm.
she's like, yeah, I would be really into it. I'm like, okay. Like she said she's into that.
Right,
So
right, right.
like
Well,
not saying that it's the same thing as a threesome, but like it feels like there's like
I
some
think you're
sort
on your
of
way here. I think you're. I
okay.
think. How about you? How about you go on that? Here's what I will say to you. Go to lesbian summer camp. Sounds awesome. I'd love to be the. I'd love to be the fucking. I'd love to work the cafeteria at lesbian summer camp and see if any of the campers want to. I don't know.
A sausage on the menu.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to get some extra sloppy joes. How far they're willing to go to be first in line for the sloppy joe. But
You're
why?
like any not anyone interested in some non-threatening starter dick. I'm right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. A really manageable penis. If you haven't had one yet, we got one right here for you, ladies.
Shit.
But why don't you go to the summer camp? See the vibes out. It might crack open a little bit of freakiness in your girlfriend, and then float the sex worker idea. Float the like field sex party idea because it sounds to me like you're on your way. You're just kind of dealing with a bashful lesbian here. And like soon, I think you're good. I do think you can have your cake and eat it too. Especially you said you're both kind of on the same freaky wavelength. I think you're good here. I wouldn't worry too much. It's sweet of you to really like want to make sure she's 100% super duper down. But I think this is a good little toe dipping in the lesbian poly world, and then after that, I think you can maybe get maybe get some dick in the mix in a way that like doesn't
Yeah.
feel as intimidating to her.
Get get our feet wet, like literally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, that's actually really, really insightful. I was kind of like laughing to myself about like calling into a podcast with like that's 80% straight men, you know, with this question, but I think that really does apply, like all the things that you mentioned. So thank you for
Wonderful.
talking that out with me.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. And good luck. And, keep us updated. Keep us
I most
updated.
certainly will.
All right.
Good luck, Alpha.
Good luck, Alpha.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya. Bye.